Cobra Kai Season 4 dropped this past Friday on Netflix. I took the whole weekend to watch all the episodes and savor them, and I'm here with my spoiler review for this new season of Cobra Kai right after this. Hey everyone, it's the Outlaw John Rocha. How you doing? Hope you had a wonderful weekend and a great New Year's. I am back at it today, Monday, hanging out here doing a spoiler review for Season 4 of Cobra Kai that just dropped on Netflix this past Friday. You guys know I'm a massive fan of Cobra Kai. I even got YouTube Red just to be able to watch the first season and the second season, and of course been enjoying Season 3 and Season 4. So much fun to dive back into the world of Cobra Kai and see what's going on and catch up on Johnny Lawrence, catch up on Daniel LaRusso, what's going on with Miyagi-Do, what's going on with Eagle Fang, what's Cobra Kai and John Kreese up to, and we got some new characters who popped in this season as well, and the furthering of the storylines here between Sam and Miguel and Tori and Robby, and so much to explore and dive into and examine here as we break down Season 4 of Cobra Kai. Now, this is a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the episodes or you haven't seen the whole season, then I'd encourage you to stop right here, go and finish watching it or go and start watching it, and then come on back and hang out with me, and you can enjoy the spoiler review episode here. And let me know what you thought later on about everything I had to say down in the comments section for sure. But before I get into the review, I just want to remind you all this is the Outlaw Nation channel, so we'd love it if you subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the new content we do on here. And if you're on Twitch, follow and subscribe to me there. The Outlaw Nation, all one word on Twitch. Definitely going to have way more content coming in 2022 on Twitch, so you don't want to miss out on that. And later on, I'll let you know how you can be part of the Patreon so you can have an interactive element to support of everything we do here on the Outlaw Nation channel. All right, let's get into this review for Cobra Kai Season 4. When we start Season 4, we're dealing with the ramifications of all that happened in Season 3. Remember, we had Tori and the Cobra Kai break in to Sam LaRusso's house, Daniel LaRusso's house there, and go after Sam and her Miyagi-Do people. Hawk had been on one side, aka Eli Moskowitz, had been on one side with Cobra Kai, then saw his friend who was studying with Miyagi-Do getting beat up by two of these Cobra Kai, kind of changed him around. He switched allegiances. Robby wasn't there, which really upset Tori. And then we go to the Cobra Kai dojo where Daniel LaRusso was confronting John Kreese. This has been building through the whole season here with Johnny Lawrence showing up as well. And all three of those guys going at it, breaking through windows, smashing into walls. And it all culminated with this special session at the local government, the special meeting that was called for them to discuss how they would settle this issue amongst these angry dojos and these senseis who were leading these dojos. And it was decided that whoever won whatever dojo won the All Valley tournament, that dojo would be allowed to exist, and the other dojo or dojos would go out of business. So we jump into Season 4 here. We have Daniel and Johnny coming together, saying they're going to work together to take care of Kreese. We saw at the end of last season that Kreese put a call in, and many, many people assumed he was calling Terry Silver from, if you remember, from Karate Kid Part 3, and his kind of crazy approach to Cobra Kai as well. So bringing him in, of course, the groundwork of that was laid through Season 3 when we saw the flashbacks of John Kreese in Vietnam, saving a very young Terry Silver, who was clearly having trouble being in Vietnam. So all of that coming to bear here as we start Season 4. And these are two really powerful storylines that are running all throughout Season 4 here. Terry Silver and John Kreese, what that relationship is like, and the developing relationship between Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence. Johnny being approaching the world through one way, and that's a 1980s heavy metal or rock band approach to the world. And Daniel LaRusso, as we see in the season, more soft rock approach to the world, more of a magnanimous approach to the world, but also believing that his way is the right way, and Johnny also believing his way is the right way. And then on the other side, you've got Terry Silver. Kreese has to talk into coming back to Cobra Kai, has to kind of play with him and hit on his, how am I going to say this, male toxicity, the alpha male toxicity buttons, try to push all those buttons to bring back that inner angry, crazy Terry Silver that we saw in Karate Kid Part 3. And we also get introduced to Kenny, this new kid here played by Dallas Young. Kenny is the brother of the guy that Robby meets in juvenile detention. They initially have fights with each other, but then become friends out of respect for their ability to go at each other. I know it's a weird thing. Dudes are crazy. But anyway, his brother is this nerdy young black kid who gets catfished by Anthony LaRusso. That's Daniel LaRusso's son. He becomes a bully to Kenny. So this cycle repeats itself. Bullies, kids, going to karate, because eventually Kenny goes to his brother, tells him during one of those meetings there that you get when you're in prison that he's having trouble. Kenny gives him the name of Robby, and Kenny goes and visit Robby at the Cobra Kai dojo. And eventually Kenny joins the Cobra Kai dojo, finds his strength, kind of has a little flirtation with a girl that Anthony LaRusso has a thing for. And that sets off a whole chain of events through the whole series, or so season rather, that I think culminates in a very powerful and unsettling moment between Kenny and Anthony there at the All Valley tournament in the locker room. So really enjoyed the fact that we got some more with these characters and some more of these ever-changing dynamics within their relationship. Certainly Miguel and Sam are together here at the beginning of the season, but by the end of the season, you see the fractures in this relationship. Sam's feelings that are still there for Robby as Robby kind of gets closer to Tori throughout the season. We see a little more with Tori here and her background, the fact that her mom, it can't be a huge part of her life because she's suffering through some physical maladies, and we see her deadbeat aunt come in to try to take advantage of Tori. Tori's basically approaching the world from a very angry point of view because of the hardships in her life. So giving a little more background to all of these characters to give them even more levels to play around with as actors and actresses. And I really enjoy that throughout this season as well. But Terry Silver, I mean, that's a great X factor to throw into all of this. Initially hesitant to be part of it, then eventually talked into it. Then when he's talked into it, the way he kind of butts up against Kreese's leadership and questions Kreese's leadership without overtly questioning it, in subtle ways, kind of undercutting it, and then switching out of nowhere to try to show his allegiance to Kreese by setting up Gianni to meet him there and then kicking the crap out of Gianni, which causes Kreese to kind of have these old feelings pop up of allegiance and care for Gianni that you don't see coming. So in a way, you had to go that crazy with Terry Silver for you to have some sympathy for John Kreese and his connection with Johnny Lawrence. So many changing and shifting dynamics throughout this season that I really enjoyed. And Daniel and Johnny as well. I mean, LaRusso trying to make it work with Johnny Lawrence, but of course, Johnny Lawrence's way is louder, more brash, more brutal. It affects Daniel. He can't meditate when they're trying to share the dojo there at Daniel's place. It affects how Daniel is teaching, hearing Johnny trying to make all his Eagle Fang karate kids do some hardcore moves and do some loud yells. It really messes up the approach. So consistently throughout the season, they're just butting heads trying to work together and eventually realize they can't work together. And it leads to a rematch of the All Valley tournament final. And it ends up being a tie. I thought that was a fantastic scene to have them fight each other and then end with both of them knocking each other out. That was kind of brilliant, so that you still have no resolution. And a way Daniel still has a little bit of one-upsmanship on Johnny. He can still brag about having beat him straight up. And I enjoy a lot of the performances here. I mean, I think the actors have really come a long way in embracing their roles and in bringing what they can bring to these characters. So certainly Xolo Maridueña is fantastic. And, you know, he gets the least amount of screen time, I feel like, throughout the show of the main characters, because he's been the most established. And of course, we know he's going to be Blue Beetle. We know he's going off to do other things. So we don't spend as much time with Miguel as I would like. You know, I always love the fact that the show had a Latino lead. I was a very big fan of that. But we do get some stuff with him. And certainly Xolo just play these moments really well, seeing the disintegration of his relationship with Sam, also questioning his relationship with Johnny, seeing Johnny getting jealous about the fact that Miguel is training with LaRusso and picking up some of LaRusso's tactics, learning a little bit more from Daniel. He's gravitating more to a more philosophical approach to karate, more philosophical approach to the world, kind of wanting to investigate and explore where he came from. And that leads to a very powerful moment where Johnny is drunk after Terry Silver has beat him up, and he's laying in the bed, and Miguel kind of shows up at the apartment, picks him up, puts him to bed. Johnny says, "You know, I love you, kid." And it really moves Miguel, who says, I love you. And Gianni blows it by saying, I love you too, Robby, which is his actual son. And we cut to Miguel, and Xolo Maridueña does a fantastic job in that moment emotionally. You can sense and feel his tears in that moment. And of course, that leads later to Miguel at the All Valley tournament, not ending up coming back from his injury to fight. He ends up actually taking off and going to Mexico to try to find his father by the time we end season 4. So certainly that's going to be a huge part of season 5. Although I think they're doing that so they can only check in and do a couple scenes with him as he's shooting Blue Beetle, as he's shooting these other things, because from what I understand, season 5 of Cobra Kai is coming in the middle of the year. So we're definitely going to have more of the Cobra Kai stuff coming very, very soon, sooner rather than later, for sure. I really enjoy what Mary Mouser was able to do here with Sam as well. I like seeing more of Sam. I like seeing Sam as the bridge between Daniel and Gianni. Some of the criticisms is with Sam's character is that she's been a little bit too much of a goody two-shoe, also a little bit privileged, kind of having it her way. And certainly Tori calls her out on that a few times throughout the series. So seeing that kind of come to bear here in this season, seeing her have these kind of nasty characteristics, certainly that scene where Tori is playing a mermaid because she's trying to take any odd job she can to put food on the table and feed herself because her mom and take care of her mom, and having Sam show up, who doesn't know this about Tori, doesn't know the background here of Tori, having her come in and kind of shoot these shots at Tori as she's there dressed up as a mermaid was pretty unsavory side to her personality and to who she is as a person that you don't like to see. But throughout the season, they do that with all the characters. Sam picks up some of Johnny's training there when they're on the rooftop. She's the one that jumps across. She's the one that kind of wants to embrace a little more edge to herself. And I'm sure Mary Mouser was very excited to be able to do that, seeing a softening of Tori. We've seen the hard edge of Tori, but seeing a softening of Tori. We see Amanda LaRusso come and try to help her. Courtney Henggeler, she's fantastic as Amanda LaRusso, but her coming to try to help Tori, give her a little bit more, assistance through what she's dealing with. And then we find out that Amanda has had her own kind of checkered past because of influences and things that were going on in her family. And so she feels a certain kind of connection with Tori and wanting to help Tori. And that plays out through the season, much to Sam's chagrin. I really enjoyed Peyton. At times I'm on the fence with Peyton. She kind of overacts moments at times, emotes too much. And, it is a soap opera-y type show. I get that. But seeing Peyton kind of take little moments to kind of listen and observe and not make it overt what she's feeling, and have you kind of search for her feelings and her multiple feelings having at the same time. And certainly giving her the storyline where she's having to take these jobs in order to survive and being confronted by her deadbeat aunt. I thought that was great to see, and Peyton got some more drama to play, which was nice to see as well. With Robby, we get so many fun things to explore within his character that I think are enjoyable. To me, he's the standout. I mean, Xolo is already settled and he's going off to do a million things, but I think Tanner Buchanan really shines this season. Really seeing him have these moments with Kenny, have these moments with Kreese, with Silver, and then with Tori. Their budding romance that develops throughout that scene at the prom when they come out looking sexy as hell and doing their dance and all of that. It really plays out well to see what Tanner Buchanan can do with this character. And by the end of the season, I'm really kind of cheering for this guy to figure it all out. Certainly having that coming together with Johnny Lawrence as he realizes that living with this hate, living with this anger is no way to live life. He said he doesn't want to be Johnny, but then he realizes by the end of the season, by holding on to this anger towards Johnny, that ironically will make him become Johnny down the road because he can't let it go. So seeing him come to that realization, I think was a nice journey to see. But other actors I can talk about here, really enjoyed Jacob Bertrand. His Hawk journey throughout this season is great. He's initially this guy who is seen as a traitor to both sides, to both Cobra Kai and to Miyagi-Do, and eventually he wins people over because he's the one that literally and figuratively builds a bridge between Johnny and Daniel by knocking down these walls and using the extra storage space that Miyagi had set up. Mr. Miyagi had earlier, and he builds out a dojo, builds out some more space for all of them to be there and learn at their own pace from both Johnny and Daniel. But then eventually he gets into the situation where he is kind of bullying Kenny, and Robby sees that, pushes back against Hawk, and then eventually catches Hawk when he's trying to get a tattoo and cuts off Hawk's hair, which Hawk had kind of held on to as this kind of symbolism of his strength. But without that, who is he? You know, and remember, these are teenagers. So things that they're navigating and negotiating, things that they're experiencing, this is all world ending and cataclysmic. And you know, you're not sure if you're ever going to bounce back. You're not sure if you're ever going to survive. And of course, Eli Moskowitz, who was a nerd and found his power through karate and became Hawk and got these girls and felt that this was power for him. And the Hawk symbol, the haircut rather, symbolized that. To have the haircut taken off of him and seeing what he becomes afterwards and what he has to negotiate, what he has to navigate there, are really interesting colors to see in a character. And I think Jacob Bertrand does a fantastic job. And I really enjoyed seeing Vanessa Rubio back as Carmen. We see her and Gianni get closer throughout the season, rekindle this attraction between them, and want to go forward with it. We've had a funny moment of Gianni not being able to perform in bed, but also later on her struggling with the fact that Miguel has taken off to go meet his father. And then we find out from Carmen that he doesn't even know that Miguel exists. So that's a huge deal that Miguel is going to have to confront, and Carmen is going to confront. And I imagine Gianni is going to head on down to Mexico, and we're going to get the Johnny Lawrence trip through Mexico, which I think is going to be a crazy thing to experience for sure. But I do want to give some love also to Thomas Ian Griffith. I mean, Thomas Ian Griffith, not the best of actors. I got to be honest. You know, a lot of his stuff went straight to DVD, as we used to say back in the old days. So yeah, he got to play this part in Karate Kid Part 3, which a lot of people don't think is the best of the series. I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying that. But having him come in, I was a little worried, little trepidatious about what we were going to get. But they did such a great job. And certainly want to give love to the creators here, Josh Heald, John Hurwitz, and Bob Dearden for what they were able to do with this series, and Hayden Schlossberg as well. I mean, just seeing what they were able to do with this character of Terry Silver and incorporate him into this world of Cobra Kai that's been going on for 3 seasons, and having Thomas Ian Griffith initially play this kind of guy who's gone to therapy and put away his demons. And we hear when he tells Daniel, I was on cocaine, which of course explains why it's a really crafted way of explaining why he was so crazy and overacting like crazy throughout Karate Kid Part 3. Hearing him say he was on cocaine makes so much sense, and you can buy it. And it seems like he's like embraced this new age approach to life. He's very rich. He's got this rich girlfriend. He's got all these rich friends. And so we see Kreese come in and kind of deconstruct or knock those walls down, or knock through that shell to get to the crazy, unstable, unsettling Terry Silver that was hiding underneath. And we see him grow in power throughout the season. And I think Thomas Ian Griffith, in those quiet moments, those one-on-one moments with Kreese, or one-on-one moments with Daniel, or even with Gianni, is so damn good. And it really unsettles you throughout the season. It feels like you're playing with electricity with him. And then by the end, when he sets up Kreese to go to jail for the supposed beating up of Stingray, a great Paul Walter Hauser getting an episode and a half to have some fun here. It was great to see him come back into the series, but him essentially setting up Kreese to take the fall for his carrying out his anger at Kreese by beating the crap out of Stingray was really a brilliant Machiavellian move by Terry Silver. So incredible to see him come in and essentially own this season. Overall, the storylines here really worked for me. The progression step by step. And listen, as an older guy, you got to understand, when you're watching a show like this, it's easy to say, oh, why are they doing this? Or why are they doing that? These are teenagers. So from day to day, you don't know what they're thinking or what their feeling is. One second, this person is their best friend. The next second, this person is their enemy. You just never know. Having spoken to some parents over the weekend about this is standard stuff. And so you sometimes can be trapped with thinking, oh, why are they feeling this way? And then the next second they're feeling differently. This is the game. And essentially that can even transfer over to the older characters, because Daniel and Gianni are still essentially man children. Kreese is a man child. The same thing with Terry Silver. These are guys that are in some ways are in a state of arrested development and are still kind of working out their issues from when they were teenagers or in their 20s in Vietnam or whatever, still working out all those issues and using these kids at times to work out their issues. against each other. So no matter how much you may get older, if you don't deal with your stuff, all that stuff comes back and you're essentially going back to acting like a child. So them switching allegiances, switching their points of view, switching what works and what doesn't work, who they're going to follow, who they're not going to follow, whether it's adult or children, it really works because overall these people are all trying to grow in some way, shape, or form out of the old stuff or the current stuff that is happening to them if we're dealing with the younger characters. So I like that they did that for sure. I dug the writing for a majority of the season, really liked some of the more intimate back and forths that we had that led to a little more character development. Seeing all those moments here, it really played well. I thought some of the humor that they found in some of the dark humor that we found in certain moments worked well as well, but also the relationship moments, right? Like Gianni and Miguel sitting on that bar and talking with each other about how Gianni is a little jealous of how Miguel was gravitating towards Daniel, and Miguel is like, dude, you're my sensei. You're always going to be my sensei. And seeing Gianni being jealous of Daniel and his relationship with Miguel, that kind of plays itself out to, which I enjoy seeing that as just seeing those conversations. And then Daniel, of course, being jealous that Johnny's influence on Sam is affecting Sam. So having that play out where they're kind of essentially in their minds seeing their children or pseudo children being stolen by another father figure and what that leads to as well. So I liked how they played out those. I liked how those scenes were written. I liked how that there was, there wasn't a need to overflower the scenes. They felt very natural and organic in the conversation. So those are all the things that I really enjoyed. And then we get to the All Valley tournament and it stretched it out over 2 days. They essentially pulled a WrestleMania and made this final over 2 nights or 2 days or 2 episodes rather. And I enjoyed that. I really did. Adding the skills competition was brilliant because you got to see more of these kind of side characters coming in and having their chances to shine. I mentioned Eli Moskowitz, Hawk, having his chance to show what he can do and win the tournament was really a surprise. I didn't see that coming. Having a Dimitri do more and seeing him with his skills competition, I thought was really cool as well. And I don't want to leave out Devin, played by Oona O'Brien, having her come in near the tail end of the season as one of the female recruits from Johnny Lawrence, having her come in and kick a little ass as well. That was fun to see there in this All Valley tournament final. And then, of course, at the end, seeing Tori, seeing Sam, I thought the karate between both of the finals was really well done. Yeah, having Hawk and Robby going at it and, taking their shirts off and him re-embracing the Hawk thing, I thought that was really good. And, of course, having the MC stepping in and doing his thing, Keith Arthur Bolden as Daryl, I thought he added a nice element for sure. So those are all the things that I really enjoyed about the season. I didn't know what to expect going into season 4. I was worried that maybe they kind of hit the end of the creative road. And yes, we do see some repetition of patterns, senseis, students rebelling against senseis being unable to control their students, father-son dynamics, father-daughter dynamics playing out. Certainly one of the highlights of the season is having Ralph Macchio's actual daughter there playing Louis' sister, who comes in and she plays a therapist, a child therapist there, and calls the LaRussos out on their parenting. A great meta moment to have Ralph Macchio's daughter as an actress calling out Ralph Macchio's character for his parenting technique and his parenting style. So all of that stuff kind of added nice little elements to this and expanded the world a little bit more and had us enjoy the journey these characters were going on. Now, some of the things that I didn't like, and I got to be honest with you, I'm a little confused why we're not having more of an Asian influence in this show. Now, one of the things they fought back on doing throughout the show, and I think they've worked really well on, is diversity. Yes, we've got a Latino lead in Miguel. We've got Kenny coming in this season. We've had people of color throughout. We certainly have Kyler leading the Cobra Kai. He's kind of a jerky guy. He's an Asian guy who's there. And then, of course, the judge is Asian in the All Valley tournament final. But and we do see Chosen at the end coming back. That's a great moment, having Chosen come back and him aligning with Daniel LaRusso to take on Terry Silver here as we go into season 5. But to me, I don't. The only 2 Asian characters are the arrogant rich kid and the judge who takes money. I think and then Chosen coming in right at the end, not even throughout the season, just right at the end. So for me, I want to encourage the creators and the writers Please, it's the Valley. It's got a strong Asian population in the Valley. We need to have more Asian characters in this. I mean, you're watching a bunch, yes, majority white people fight karate, and we need to have more of the Asian influence in this. Referencing Miyagi and referencing the scroll and all of that doesn't take care of that. And I hope the writers and the creators here do a better job of bringing in more Asian characters into this. And we certainly Oona O'Brien coming in as Devon is great to have her, but we need to have more. So hopefully down the road, we'll get some more. Of course, Nathaniel O is in this as well, but Nathaniel only has certain moments, certain scenes. He's not a big part. So I'd like Asian characters to come in and be bigger parts of this show for sure. Oh, Anthony LaRusso was so annoying. Nothing against Griffin Santopietro. I think he did a nice job for what he was given, but he was really easy to hate. And maybe that was the point, but I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more here with him. Certainly him being this kind of arrogant rich kid who doesn't have a connection to Miyagi, which I thought was a nice little level to throw into that character. And then bullies Kenny with these other three bullies. I thought we could have had a little bit more with him, but they turned him into such a one-dimensional villain. Even though they gave him a little color about him being, kind of an arrogant rich kid and not having a connection to Miyagi, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more with him, a little more fleshed out, a little more interesting approach to his character that made you not sure which side of the fence you were on with him. And there are certainly some great comedic moments throughout the season. I mean, Paul Walter Hauser's Stingray, which I mentioned earlier in the review, being one of the comedic highlights of the season for me. But there are some moments that are played for laughs that I think in 2021 should not be in a show like this. And some other things that are included in this show, which I'll get to, that I'm not a big fan of. Certainly the idea of having Johnny Lawrence walking onto a field of female teenagers and him trying to convince them to join his dojo and having a father make a comment about, hey, which one is yours, trying to connect with him. And Johnny says, oh, I like that one. I can't wait to get her. It's essentially making a joke about an older man hitting on a teenage girl. And I just don't think that's something that should be in this at all. And I think it adds a weird element to it that, it's a bunch of old dudes making a joke at a young female teenager's expense. And I think it's a bad look. And no dad would sit there and just kind of look at him weird and walk off. I thought that was ridiculous. And so I really wish they'd shy away from crap like that, because it isn't the 80s. And Johnny may be stupid or slow on certain things, but he ain't that stupid or slow in that way. I think he'd be aware of the fact that this is a bad look. And even having Miguel there with him doesn't excuse the fact that you had that little joke. So to me, I think walking away from jokes like that would be good for the series. Also, there was no reason to bring Carrie Underwood into this. That was a terrible remake of The Moment of Truth, which is a fucking awesome 80s workout song or 80s theme song here from the Karate Kid franchise. Her remake was terrible. She's a great country music artist. There's some fucking awesome songs from Carrie Underwood, but her coming in and doing it, why would she be? That makes no sense. And I get you're playing out the Malcolm Jamal Warner joke that the council or the group of people that were at the local government there that got together to decide the changes for the All Valley tournament. It made no sense to bring her in. And even more so, her like off-camera stuff. I mean, her liking anti-masking videos, really not good. And then her liking her husband's post defending Aaron Rodgers' lame-ass attempt to claim that he's sorry for misleading people when in fact he was full on lying. I thought that was really terrible. This idea of medical freedom, all this crap. She's attached to that movement. So having her show up at a tournament final with teenagers from high school, you're essentially rubber stamping her points of views about this. And I thought that was a bad look for the show. Another thing I'd like to see the show kind of move away from is this idea or liberty that they take with the viewers that the police never show up to these fights until the end, or don't even show up at all to these public fights that are happening in public places in front of witnesses. And people who have cell phones are going to take videos of these fights. So the police should be visiting and interacting and talking to these people. There has to be more of an element, in my opinion, of that. They're taking way too much liberty. This is like having a horror movie with cell phones, but like not letting the cell phones work. It's convenient for convenience sake. It's not creatively intelligent to see that happening. So to me, that bothers me. They've got to have more of an element of the police showing up, because there's way too many assault and battery cases happening throughout this show. And maybe that's That's just a bridge too far for me, and I'm getting a little annoyed by seeing that consistently happening season to season. So I'd like that to change going forward and making them more aware of the police element of it all. Certainly that played out with Tori in this season, having Tori kind of constantly be reminded that she's lucky to not be in prison because Amanda didn't want Sam to go through the reliving of that fight that happened at the LaRusso's house in season 3. So I'd like to see more of that. Certainly, Robby going to jail was a nice element of season 3. There's a price to pay for the things you do, but these kids don't seem to keep learning it. They seem to keep having these public fights. So there needs to be more of a police presence monitoring all this stuff for sure. So I just think that needs to be part of this a little bit further. Because I'm telling you right now, if this was a bunch of black dojos or Latino dojos going at it like this, the police would be all over it in the San Fernando Valley. So the fact that it's these white-led dojos, that should not change the fact that the police are showing up and being all over it. So it's something to think about. Overall, I'd say I enjoyed the season. I give it 4 cowboy hats out of 5 cowboy hats. Really enjoyed what we saw from the characters and their progression within their own storylines and within themselves as they came to the realizations by the end of this season of where they're going as young human beings and where they're going as adults. And I really appreciated seeing more of that, more of their inner lives, more of the back and forths, more of their struggles as they're getting older, as they're embracing more of their maturity, and as they're seeing that there's a world past high school and the ramifications of that world on their lives. I liked seeing that as well. And I really enjoy what we got from the adult characters as well, seeing their change in terms of their connections and their relationships, seeing the struggles, seeing the growth that they're trying to have, even when they're being pretty stubborn about their points of views. Daniel LaRusso, it's great to see that there's a confrontation of that. And I really enjoyed seeing the battle between Terry Silver and John Kreese for control of Cobra Kai. You know, John Kreese has kind of been this alpha male dog the whole time. And every once in a while, someone gets the best of him, like Miyagi does at the beginning of Karate Kid Part 2. But overall, he's able to use his tactics to kind of step on everybody. Well, having someone come in who is a student of his, a former student of his, and a friend, having him come in to kind of completely undercut him, I thought was brilliant. So I don't know what we're going to get going into season 5. Do we get Gianni and Daniel and Kreese coming together against Terry Silver, chosen against Terry Silver? And are we getting Mike Barnes coming into the series now, or a Hillary Swank appearance possibly in season 5? I don't think we're going to see her until season 6. Until the last season, I don't think we see Hillary Swank. So, but I think she's coming. She's got to come. She's got to be a part of this. For God's sakes, Miyagi trained her. She's got to be a part of this. Well, if you got a chance to watch season 4, let me know what you thought of it in the comments section below. Remember to hit like on this video and share it on your social media. Let me know what you thought of the season, what you enjoyed about the season, all of that in the comments section below. Really appreciate that. Let me know what you thought of my review of the season in the comments section below. Did I miss anything? Did I miss any big things? Let me know what you thought about it. I'd love to hear about it. Always open to your thoughts and always appreciate them. That's for sure. And remember to subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the new content we do here. You know, we crossed 21,100 subscribers. We're so close to 21,200. We want to march to 25,000, 30,000, 50,000. We can only do that with your help. So if you're enjoying the content we do here, all the reviews, all the trailer reactions, all the pre-produced videos, all the shows, Geek Buddies, Jedi Way, Strong Style, the John and Wendy Show, all those things that we have here on the channel, then please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, and join us. And if you're on Twitch, head on over there and look for The Outlaw Nation, all one word. You see it right there on the screen. Follow and subscribe to me there for all the content I'll be doing on Twitch. And if you'd like to support everything we're doing and influence the direction of the channel, then please come aboard the Patreon. Patreon.com/John Rocha. See all the multiple tiers that you can be a part of and the hangouts and the interactive benefits that you get from being a patron of the Outlaw Nation Dojo. Yes, the Outlaw Nation Dojo. All right. Well, this is Sensei Outlaw saying thank you so much for joining me for this review. Y'all take care of yourselves. Again, I hope you had a happy new year. Let's make 2022 an awesome year for you and for me. And I'll talk to you next time with another brand new review here from the Outlaw Nation.